Ladies and gentlemen, I will call the Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee to order. And we do have minutes of our last meeting, May 13th, gentlemen.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second.
Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And we will continue our work on the proposed 2014-2015 budget. And for those of you who are here for your budget hearing tonight, this is the procedure we will follow. I will ask you to come and join us at the table if you're the department head or the representative of your group. The mayor will give his recommendation. I will then give you opportunity to speak to the details of your budget. And the members of the committee will have a chance to ask questions or have as much discussion as is necessary. And gentlemen, if I hear no objection from you, we will continue with voice vote unless you tell me otherwise. I think that makes things move a little bit more smoothly. And as we start with our information on our iPads, remember to use the slide bar at the bottom to help with page numbers, or up in the upper left-hand corner will help you. We will begin with the other social, cultural, and recreation part of the budget, and we need to be on pages 92 and 93. If you will look on page 92, the mayor's recommendation is for a total of $455,266. And now, if you'll flip one page, we will go through the details of that total, and I will introduce each facility or each organization and ask them to join us. We'll start with child advocacy. The representative for child advocacy. Mayor Burgess, I don't see anyone. Your recommendation, please.
2,500, the same as current year.
We're gonna vote on each one at a time, or?
What is your, would you like to go through the entire?
Let me just make a preamble statement. There are no increases in my recommendations. The only increase we have, and this has already been discussed, is the dues that we pay for Relax and Ride, and those costs is up about $4,000. But aside from that, there are no changes in the recommended amounts.
So if you're comfortable with that, we'll just wait until we get to the end, and we'll have one motion for the 455,266 total.
But we still have, after that, we have the option of bringing up a couple if we want to.
Sure.
Okay.
Domestic violence program. Will you introduce yourself for the record, please?
My name is Deborah Johnson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Domestic Violence Program.
Okay. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
It's $31,200,
Ms. Johnson.
and that is the amount they actually requested.
Your comments, please.
Well, thank you first for the opportunity to be here and for your funding over a good number of years now. Our agency started working for the county in this respect, working with the court system in Rutherford County for civil orders of protection in 1989 when Chancellor Stegall, before he retired, passed the responsibility to our agency as a nonprofit for the first time, where victims of this specific crime of domestic violence and stalking and sexual abuse could come to our agency to do orders of protection rather than to the court clerk's office, where it was private, quiet, there's food, toys for the kids, diapers, and all kinds of nice things that were not available through the clerk's office. We currently take about 600 to 800 orders of protection per year in our office. Those are fax filed to the courthouse. The judges have extended the ability for us to fax file, so the victims don't have to make a separate trip to the courthouse. And then we have a part-time attorney who represents those people in the civil order of protection docket on Mondays. We feel that we really save the county a substantial amount of money by taking the work that would be done by at least one or more clerk's office staff to do that work. And we'd be pleased to continue.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Exchange Club Family Center.
Hi.
Good evening. If you'll introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Dawn Eaton, and I am the Executive Director of the Family Center.
Mayor Burgess.
22,000, they did request 25, but I'm not recommending any increases, not singling any one of them out.
Do you want to make any comments about your agency?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to just share with you. The agency is 29 years old, but we have been in Rutherford County for 26 years now. So we've been serving the county a long time. The mission is to break the cycle of child abuse. And all of our services are targeted towards parents and children. We teach parent education classes both at 2 levels. The county state law requires that all divorcing parents with children receive some kind of class, a 4-hour class. We teach that, and in addition, we also have an 8-week curriculum. Most of the people that come to the 8-week curriculum are referred to us by the courts, and through, we also teach out at the local jails, and have a very big class out at the jail on a regular basis in the men's and women's classes. And we added this year, we're both at the Correctional Work Center, and then we added the jail this year, and so we're teaching out there too. We serve over 1,000 families in a given year.
Thank you for your comments and for the information.
Does the state give you any funding?
The state, we get money through the Department of Children's Services, which is through a federal grant that we get some money from them, $50,000 for Rutherford County. Any other questions? Thank you.
Laverne Senior Citizens. Hello.
Hello, how are y'all?
And if you will please introduce yourself for the record.
I am Cassidy Ramsey, and I work at the Laverne Senior Center. I'm the senior coordinator.
Mayor Burgess.
Okay, they requested $44,000, which is the same as they have this current year, and that's the recommendation, 44,000.
Would you like to make any comments about your agency?
Yes, ma'am. I'm new to the Laverne Senior Center. I've been there since February, so and I'm loving it so far. We right now have around 350 active members, probably around 30. I think our daily average is around 38, depending on the day. I mean, obviously some days there's a lot more, and then other days. But we offer around 35 to 40 different activities and programs throughout the month. And so I just did want to say that when we did send in our request for the 44,000. I had just come in, and at the time, our center was just going through a big transitional phase, and so we just kind of thought we'll just stick with the 44,000 that we've been doing, and but since then, I have began to see an increase in our daily attendance, and been able to, start to get settled and kind of look into the future and, what do we need at the center to be able to, enrich the lives of our seniors. And I've talked to them about things that they want and need, and have, even had training in, what our center does need to offer as far as, helping them, to get more healthy and active and, physically and mentally. So I talked, I guess, with a few people about maybe requesting a little bit more, but that is, I guess, all I have to say for now.
Okay. Thank you for your information.
Yes,
Thank you very
ma'am.
much.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to just say that I'm going to make a motion later for all 3 senior centers for an increase, because we haven't given them to them. I'm very involved. I happen to be with Laverne. I'm on their board. I know, I've seen the people, met them, and everyone that's on here are very worthy, of what we get. I'm talking all of the agencies. They really help out a lot in this county. But the seniors, and some of us are there, and hopefully, I guess the rest of these guys here would and hope that they're going to reach that age one of these days. And the senior centers are growing, and I found out how many of those people, if it wasn't for the senior center or somebody like Mid-Cumberland or something like that, could not get around anywhere. They can't get to the doctors, they can't get to a grocery store because they don't have family, and this type of thing. So what I'm gonna do after we get through here is for the 3 senior centers, to break it down, 15,000 that is not going to be going for the Laverne Rescue Squad, to split it up among the 3 senior centers. So I just wanted to say that now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Mid-Cumberland Human Resource Agency. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. If you will introduce yourself, please, for the record.
I'm Debbie Willis. I'm the coordinator for the Meals on Wheels program. And I guess I'm here for homemaker and transportation also.
Okay, surely. Mayor Burgess.
Okay. Well, there are 4 pieces of this. On dues, they asked for $28,887, which is the same as this year, and that's the recommendation. On nutrition, they asked for $28,000, which is the same as this year, and that's the recommendation. Transportation, they asked for $5,000, which is the same as this year, and again, $5,000 is the recommendation. They asked for an increase in homemaker from $3,500 to $5,000, but my recommendation is $3,500.
Would you like to make any comments about your agency?
Sure. Meals on Wheels, I want to give you a little fact I don't know, you may not know. Tennessee is ranked the 5th in the nation for senior hunger. 1 in 5 seniors go to bed hungry at night, which is kind of appalling. I've been into homes and opened the refrigerator and there's nothing in there but the little food I sent them for the day. And 30 to 35% of the seniors have to choose between food and their utilities, or food and their other things. So it's a very much needed program. With taking the food out to them, they're getting socialization from our volunteers that take the food in. We've also partnered with Nutro, the pet food company, and they're coming in, bringing us bags of dog and cat food, and they're also delivering them for us to the folks that have dog and cats, because we found out that a lot of the people are sharing their food with their babies, their children, their only companion. So that's been an awesome program that we've been doing. We also partner with the library, Linebaugh Library. They bring us over books, and we send them out to the seniors because they aren't able to come out and utilize the library anymore. So our slogan is kind of, we're more than just a meal, and that's kind of what we do. I know Mayor Burgess has been many times out to deliver. I invite all of you gentlemen to come out anytime and see the folks that we're serving. We're over at the St. Clair Street Senior Center. They're kind enough to let us use their kitchen and dining room there, so I invite you to do that. The Homemaker program is a wonderful program. They go into their homes and they'll grocery shop, personal care, that kind of thing. They have 40 something people on their wait list, but 19 of those are critical, which means that they come from APS or the Child Protective or Adult Protective Service. So that is why they asked for the increase. And I just thank y'all for your support. It's very much appreciated, very much needed, and thank you for what you said about the seniors. They're an important population out there, and it helps. A lot of these programs help for them to stay in their home, not go to the nursing home, and which is kind of what everybody wants, and it saves a little money for the folks doing that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Pregnancy Support Center. Good evening.
Hello, I'm Laura Messick. I'm the executive director of what is now called Portico, and you all may have seen in your packets that went out. We have done a brand change and a name change, and anyone who'd like to have one of these is welcome. Portico is a word that means porch or covering or shelter, and so much of what we do now affects entire families and not just women, and that was a large part of why we made the name change. We're kind of the opposite of the senior citizens. We're trying to affect people on the younger side of the scale. And in addition to what we do to help pregnant ladies, we're doing just a lot of family intervention. trying to help families develop parenting skills, coping skills, trying to help young people. We educate young people in the county schools about the dangers of early sexual involvement. We teach them a lot about STDs and how to prevent that. We teach them about the timeline of their lives. Here you are, and this is your entire life in front of you. If you can wait and make good decisions and develop good habits, good self-esteem. And so we're really trying to affect people before they've made some of the mistakes that then bring them to us. So we're doing a lot with young people, with fathers, with single moms. That's a new emphasis of ours, particularly trying to reach out to single moms. We're doing support groups as well as one-on-one counseling, and we provide a lot of material assistance for a lot of indigent families in the county that just need basic needs for their children, and anywhere from the beginning with things for them when they're pregnant, all the way to diapers, formula, food, baby beds, strollers, car seats, everything with meet and federal standards, clothes. And we have a lot of our clients tell us they don't know what in the world they would do without us. So we appreciate your support and appreciate y'all being interested in
And
this.
thank you for the explanation, because I wasn't sure what that meant. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
that's what that
And
means,
Mayor
so.
Burgess, your recommendation, please.
They've requested $3,000, which is the same as this year, and that's the recommendation.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna ask for more next year. So
Maybe we can give everyone an increase.
There you go. Thank you.
Gentlemen, you will recognize Relax and Ride, because we just recently approved that contract, did we not, Mayor Burgess?
Yes, we did.
And Rutherford County Primary Care and Hope Clinic. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Ray. I'm the Director of Development at the Primary Care and Hope Clinic.
Mayor Burgess.
Okay, again, they've requested $50,000, which is the same that we have in the budget this year, and that is the recommendation.
Thank you.
Would you like to make some comments about your clinic?
I would, yes. The Primary Care and Hope Clinic is a nonprofit community health center. We serve uninsured and underserved in Rutherford and surrounding areas. We provide primary and acute health care, behavioral health services, social services. In 2013, we provided health care services to over 7,200 patients. About 47% of those were uninsured. We're not a free clinic. Uninsured patients pay on a sliding fee discount using the federal poverty level. They have to requalify for that every year. And so this request helps offset those costs. Most of those patients, uninsured patients, pay only $20. And the actual cost to us of that visit is much higher than that, well over 100, 140. So this helps offset some of those costs.
Thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
St. Clair Street Senior Citizens.
Good evening. My name is Connie Rigsby, and I am the new director at St. Clair Street Senior Center.
Mayor Burgess, please.
Okay, again, they have requested the same that we have in the budget this year, $155,000, and that is my recommendation.
And I know you're new to the center, but would you like to make some comments?
I would like to make some comments. First of all, thank you for looking at a proposal and making such a generous offer. So I do appreciate that we plan on doing very good deeds this year with the budget that we have been allowed. So I would look at it and making sure that you realize that 71% of the people that we serve at the St. Clair Senior Center is actually within the county. Only 26% of those, 25% of those folks actually live within the city. So a lot of percentage of the folks that we have are in the rural areas of Rutherford County. We have only 4% that travel from other places that come in to do activities. Anywhere from 15 programs that increase their physical fitness, strength, and ability, to other programs where are along the line of social services, helping them with Medicare Part D, also with a lot of the things with insurance that are affecting them now that has come down the line. We have one-on-one person that can sit with them and talk to them about the issues. So letting you know that those seniors that come every day are getting a full range of services, from all the way from being active seniors to our seniors that have let's say, issues in mental and physical issues in the area of memory loss. And so we have an ADS service that we also provide. And I'll give you a little bit of food for thought. I really loved what you said about the need for seniors. And if that is something you partake and look at that advantage, my partner is Debbie here, and I know that there was a little bit short in her funds. If you did go with that $5,000 and divide it with the senior centers, I would make sure $1,500 of it went to make sure some of those folks on that waiting list receive meals.
Thank you and welcome. to
Thank you.
Murfreesboro.
Appreciate it very much.
Smyrna Senior Citizens. Good evening.
I'm Wanda Chandler. I'm the director of the Smyrna Senior Citizens, and I guess I've been here about 14 times already. I'm not new.
Mayor Burgess, please.
Okay, they did ask for an increase. Current year it's 45,000. They asked for 46,500, and my recommendation again is 45,000.
I'd like to say thank you for your past support of the senior citizens. We appreciate all that the county has done for us, and I appreciate your comments. And I think actually until you're at a senior center every day and see the people that come there and see the needs, you don't realize how important they are to these senior citizens' physical, mental, and emotional stability. And for instance, this morning for an example, I picked up a little 98-year-old lady and brought her to the center so she could do her watercolor class, and I would hate to think what would happen to her if she couldn't come do that. But that's just one example. But I just wanted to say that I appreciate your support so much. We thank you.
Thank you very much. And gentlemen, we have heard from each of these agencies, and of course it is very obvious that they do a wonderful service to our citizens, but Mayor Burgess's recommendation is for $455,266. The chair will entertain a motion.
Well, I'd like to make an amendment to the recommendation. Is that the first thing? I'd make the motion with the amendment, if that's what you need.
Okay.
Okay, I would like, to me, Smyrna and Laverne are very close to the same size in this. And a couple of years ago, Smyrna happened to ask for more than Laverne did when they got an increase one time. So what I would like to do is take Smyrna and Laverne senior centers to $49,000 and St. Clair to $161,000. That's a total of, St. Clair is much larger than the other two. And that's $15,000.
Okay, so we have an amendment to the motion. Smyrna and Laverne Senior Citizen Centers to $49,000, St. Clair $161. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, discussion on the amendment.
Need a second?
Did we get a second? I'm sorry.
Well, I'd like to add to that.
Well, okay, do we have a second on
I'll
the
second
amendment?
it for discussion.
Okay. Discussion on the amendment?
I've got a comment or two. I'm a little reluctant to add it to certain groups, but not others. I have trouble differentiating between among these. I think the ones that help seniors are certainly important, but I don't think we ought to ignore the other groups. I also know that we're going to have other demands from the school board to support schools. I'm receptive to this amendment, but I kind of think we ought to wait until the end of the budget process till we hear all of the requests and see what schools need so that we can see what we have left over. And then if we have some left over, I'd be interested in adding some to these. But again, I'm reluctant to add to 3 of them, but not the other half a dozen.
Any further discussion relative to the amendment?
I'd like some more information from the lady sitting over here that was talking about these people that are on the waiting list. Would you mind stepping back up here, or you can do it right there if you're more comfortable?
Okay.
And explain to me exactly, we're talking about elderly people, or we're talking about a mixture of people that are on a waiting list, and you say they're
It's elderly seniors, they're 60 years of age and older, and they call and need meals on wheels. And we go out and to their homes and fill out the paperwork, make sure they are homebound. And at the moment, we had a large cut in our federal funding.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. You said you have a cut?
We had a large cut in our federal funding, And so right now, we do have a wait list. I've got, about 15 on my wait list. Smyrna has about 20 on theirs. And it's bad when they call. I've got a number of hospice patients that call. We do have an option, that they can pay a partial payment and get on the program until we can take them off the wait list. But most of these folks cannot do that. They, like I said before, they struggle to buy food and pay their rent or utilities or
It's a
whatever.
motion, it's a motion to approve.
So they have to
change.
wait, and it's been, that's the hardest part of my job, and I have had it when I've been able to serve somebody and call, and they've passed away.
Right.
Y'all, we could hear this lady right here.
Please continue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We didn't mean to be disrespectful then.
No, you're fine, you're fine. Anyway, so having a wait list is, I hate having a wait list because these folks that call need the food. They wanna stay in their own home, they don't wanna go to a nursing home, and with us providing a nutritious meal, you know, you would think that one meal a day doesn't make a difference, but I have gone out and visited and done paperwork on somebody, gone back again to visit, and just their whole demeanor, their health is a little better. And partial of that is the socialization that they're getting from the volunteers. I have awesome volunteers here in Murfreesboro. They're awesome. And, you know, they become family with these people. I know that a lot of my volunteers take them to the doctor because they don't have family. I had one lady just the other day call me, and her heat had gone out, and she had nobody to call, so she calls me, and I called one of my volunteers, and he went over to her home, and it was just something in her thermostat, but he fixed it for her. So she had nobody to call, and so we're kind of a lifeline to a lot of these folks.
The comment was made that some of these were emergency, in an emergency situation.
Well,
Maybe
that
I
was
didn't
in
catch-
reference to the Homemaker program. They are through the Adult Protective Service, which we kind of work hand in hand. I've gone out into a lot of the homes, and there's been abuse or other issues, and I've had to call APS, and then they will contract with Mid-Cumberland's Homemaker program to have somebody to go in, and if it's in a case of neglect, that sort of thing.
You said federal cut you, how much did they cut you?
I can't remember right now. It was back when all the sequester stuff went down. The amount that I got was for the whole agency. I think it was 90,000, but don't quote me on that.
Well, one other question. You say you've got approximately 35 people countywide
For the
that's on
county.
this list.
Right.
What would it cost to provide those meals for those 35, or put them on the list?
It's in your packet. The meals are, it's a $7 meal, and it's $4.42 or $3. So whatever $4.42 is per meal. And that is a partial payment of the meal. The rest of the meal cost is from the federal money and United Way money and other fundings that we try to get. And of course, the little folks themselves, they'll give their little dollar, quarter, or whatever they can afford, you know.
I just wanted to get a handle on, you know, what we were talking about here, and I'm kind of like Commissioner Baum. I want to see where we're going to land out in this before I make any changes tonight. But something else I want to say while all of you are sitting here. Makes me feel good to be in a room full of people like you that care so much for this county and you go out of your way to do so much. It just, you know, to you work with people like y'all, I mean, it amazes me. And I wanted to applaud all of you. Thank you for being here in this county and helping us.
Mayor Burgess.
Appreciate that.
I agree with most of the comments that have been made here. Only 3 of these groups have asked us for more money.
That's because we have putting
Yeah.
out a message the last several years.
Yeah.
Don't ask for an increase. You know, so we've been pretty specific about that. We think that we're gonna try and maintain what we're doing, don't ask for more, so let's not beat them up for that reason.
And we're not taking any new ones neither, and that's a big thing too.
No, we're not. But in any event, if we're going to do something, if we're going to consider that one or two or three of these need something, it's pretty evident from what we've heard, they all deserve some equal consideration about giving them more money, even though they may not have asked for it. So I don't know how we choose or decide exactly which ones are more worthy than the others.
I think that's why in the past we said, hey, we're freezing these because there's so many out there that are worthwhile.
Commissioner Jordan?
Well, you know, you can look right down this list and see every one of these leaders out here, and every one has got a story about somebody that's either being abused, or a child, or a teenage pregnancy, or just the Primary Hope Clinic, somebody needing some help with their health care. And there's not a non-deserving agency out there. Personally, I'm going to vote against Commissioner Schaefer's motion right now, but I want to pledge to look at this again when we get toward the end of the budget. And personally, I'd like to just, if we could afford it, add 10% across the board. I'm probably also going to ask for Mr. Roberts to HD cameras to be taken out of the budget, because there's enough money right there, and I'd rather help somebody get to the doctor or get to the senior center than I would to broadcast our commission meetings in HD. No offense, Brian. But I think we ought to look at this when we do our overview of the entire budget at the end. We see how much money we have. We don't want to increase this a little bit and that push us over into a tax increase, which would hurt these people just as much. But I think we ought to, if we do anything, give them all something in the realm of 10%.
Any further discussion? Mr. Tucker, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote. Call the roll, please.
Well, Madam Chairman,
Oh, sorry.
if we're gonna do that, then I'd respectfully like for you to take the motion off the table and let's come back at the end and do that. Otherwise, then we're gonna settle it here tonight with everybody here in this room, because it's different. Another night, these folks ain't sitting in front of us, or it's when we're setting the tax rate out here in that morning. And some of the folks are here and some folks are not.
Are you willing to withdraw your motion,
so-
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes, providing we put it on, well, really, the last
Back on the
one
agenda.
we have, the last meeting we have before
Before we go
the
to public hearing.
hearing
Yeah.
is the 4th, isn't it? We have a regular meeting on the 5th, but we don't have a
Or it is a
net.
public hearing, I believe.
No.
No.
Is that the one where we
Okay.
set the tax? I
Right.
mean, that do
The
the
4th would be the
preparation?
meeting, I think.
I'll withdraw the motion if we can put this again on the meeting on the 4th of June.
Well, you can leave your motion, just take off the amendment.
Okay, take out the amendment then.
And who was that? Who did the second? Were you the second on the amendment?
You were.
Commissioner P.,
Oh.
you were
Yeah.
the second?
And I
You
agree
will
with you.
withdraw that?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so we're back to the original motion of Mayor Burgess's recommendation for these agencies that have made their presentation tonight. Are we ready for a vote?
So and telling these folks, I think either you're gonna get what's the mayor's recommendation is the least amount that you'll get, and then there's a possibility of getting 10% more for everybody, or adjustments on some folks that's had some minor adjustments here,
Or something in between.
or something in between, so.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate that.
Okay, if you will stay on this page, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, which is RSVP. Is there a representative for this group? Mayor Burgess.
Okay, the recommendation is $1,500, which is the current year budget amount. They did ask for $5,000. I've not had any communication with them, so I'm not sure I can address that any further than that.
Make a motion to approve the mayor's request.
And second from
Recommendation.
Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Tennessee Rehabilitation Center. And we do have a representative. Hello,
How
welcome.
are you?
And if you will introduce yourself, please, for the record.
I'm Pam Furlong. I'm the manager of the Tennessee Rehabilitation Center here in
Mayor
Murfreesboro.
Burgess, your recommendation?
51,000, which is the same as this year's budget and the same as their request.
Any
Thank you.
comments?
Sure. Some of you know, some are new. We provide services to people with disabilities, adults mainly, but we have recently seen an increase, and we're working with the school system, transitioning some of the juniors and seniors as they graduate out of school and into the workforce. We provide vocational evaluation services, work adjustment, and job placement for those individuals.
Move approved.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'm gonna pay my electric bill with it.
Journeys in Community Living. We did that with Mr. Farley's budget. Ms. McNeely,
I'm Betty McNeely. I'm the Executive Director of Journeys in Community Living.
Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Again, I'm repeating the same thing, 32,000, which is current budget plus their current request.
Mrs. McNeely, any comments that you would like to make?
Just that I appreciate county's funding. We've received funding from y'all for, 37 years, I think. We are a program for adults with intellectual disabilities. We use your funding to help us with our supported employment and some other programs. I would like to mention, y'all might not know this, that we have saved the county thousands of dollars because we collect from all the county offices, my clients as volunteers collect the used paper, and we divert it from the landfill, and we've done tons and tons and tons of that. You may not be aware of that program.
And before we have our vote, I do need to make a disclosure that I am on the board for Journeys.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, if you will go to page 93, page 99, we will deal with the tourism section of the budget, and you will notice under tourism, the mayor's recommendation is $525,000. And then if you'll flip a page over, we will go through the details of this portion of the budget. Starting with the Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Latour, welcome.
Madam Chairman, how are you?
And Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Okay, the recommendation is $480,000, but that's a number I think that Ms. Nolan generates from hotel motel tax, and that's a commitment we've made, and that's the amount that's available on her projections for that tax that we're going to collect.
Mr. Latour, would you like to make any comments?
Yeah, that, of course, as you all know, that's a percentage of what we were able to collect, and tourism numbers can continue to increase year over year. Last year, we had, according to the state, a $272 million economic impact. I have Barbara Wolke here, who's in her spring fling T-shirt. She's going to get back very soon to all the festivities going on there. But things in the tourism area are definitely continue to increase, and it's a great thing for our county.
Well, you sure got some Chamber of Commerce weather this week for spring fling, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. Yeah.
Well, the farmers appreciate it, 'cause
Yeah.
we're all cutting hay.
And gentlemen, if I hear no, anything from you as far as going ahead with just everything together as one vote, we'll just continue as one vote. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Latour.
I think I got some other business up here, so.
You'll be back later.
Oh, later.
Are you coming back later? Okay. From the Heritage Center? Mr. West. Good evening, Mr. West.
Good evening.
Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Well, he was going to introduce himself, I guess.
Van West from MTSU Center for Historic Preservation.
Okay, again, same request, same budget amount for this year, $15,000 is the recommendation.
Thank you for that recommendation, Mayor. We're real proud at Middle Tennessee State University of this long-term partnership we've had with the county and with many others in making the Heritage Center really work well for not only a downtown tourism draw, but also a meeting spot. So many different heritage groups and downtown business groups meet there, and always your funding is going for programming and materials and tourism brochures. So this year's tourism brochure, I always like to bring examples so you can see, is the Trail of Tears for Tennessee. Such a guide did not exist. We worked with the Cherokees and the National Park Service, who did the design, and we did everything else. And, just to let you know, a point of fact is this courthouse square was where 10,000 Cherokees walked around the square as they were heading to Oklahoma 175 years ago. So that was an important anniversary to mark for this year. So that's why we did that publication.
Thanks for the information.
Okay.
Main Street? Good evening.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Herzog. I'm the director of Main Street.
Okay, again, we'll repeat the same things. They asked for 25,000, which is the current budget, and that is the recommendation.
We thank you so much. The mission of Main Street is to promote, maintain, and enhance our historic downtown as the heart of our community. And without the support of the local government, we could not do that. One of you gentlemen asked somebody about state funding. We don't get any federal funding. We raise the money to do these wonderful free events to bring people from all over the county to our gorgeous, downtown Murfreesboro, and we appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you for your recommendation, Mayor Burgess.
Oakland Association? I don't see anyone here representing Oakland's Mayor Burgess.
Yes, ma'am. The recommendation is the same as the current budget, $2,500. They did ask for 10,000, but the recommendation is the same, $2,500.
Sam Davis Home? Good evening.
Hi, I'm Barbara Benson. I'm president of the Sam Davis Home Memorial Association, and I want to, do you need to say something first?
I will. I will officially say, again, the current amount is $2,500. That's the recommendation. They have asked for an increase to $10,000 as well, but that's not my recommendation.
Thank you. I do want to thank y'all for your support in the past and apologize for my allergy voice tonight, but I know you are all familiar with the Sam Davis Home and what we do. You've probably been there as a child or have children that have gone there for Heritage Days or Days on the Farm. We would not be able to keep the doors open without your generosity and generosity of other organizations in county and state and cities. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the mayor's recommendation under tourism is $525,000.
Motion to approve the mayor's recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
What happens if 30% of the hotel and motel tax doesn't equal $480,000?
It's not how we do it.
It's not.
We say, what do we think they're gonna
It's gonna
get?
get, and
that's
okay.
30% of that.
Okay.
And then we only give them 30% of what we actually collect.
Okay.
Gentlemen, we will deal with this Park and Fair Board's recreation total
We'll be adjusting it.
a little bit later, and we've already taken care of libraries. So if you will go back to the original beginning of our proposed budget at the very beginning, if you will go to a new folder, folder 119 for the Industrial Economic Development Fund. And we will first of all ask Mrs. Nolan to talk to us about the revenue side.
The only revenue that comes into this fund is the interest and principal payments, well, the interest for the note from the Airport Authority, estimating at $6,467. estimating the ending fund balance at $276,133. Go back to the expenditures. Well, the expenditures in total, we are estimating at $243,600. For the expenditure folder, we can talk about that in a little bit more detail. We make three large payments out of this fund. The first, $130,000, which is the destination Rutherford. The $96,500, which is for the joint Economic Development Council, and then the $17,030 is the town of Smyrna's portion that they get as a percentage of the amount that we pay into the Economic Development Council. I think I jumped ahead and told you what the mayor's recommendation was.
Whatever the total of that number is he read.
Which is $243,600. And the largest one is the destination, Rutherford, which is, well, Mr. Latour is here.
When we gonna do it for next year?
Well, that's the question.
Would you like to make some comments?
Absolutely. Just real quick, certainly things are going extremely well in Rutherford County. We're one of the leaders in the state of Tennessee, if not the leader in job creation and private capital investment. Last year alone, we had over 5,000 new jobs. We had some great announcements here recently with a company called Innovate Medical Device Company. It's going to be moving about 100-something people down from Michigan, and they're going to employ about 410 people. And they purchased another company, and fortunately, we were able to convince them to keep that here and move Michigan. We also had, of course, Swan Cosmetics, which is under construction now out on Joe B. Jackson Parkway. It's going to have about 510 people out there, and that will be their U.S. headquarters for their cosmetic companies, a German-owned company. So, of course, Nissan continues to generate a great amount of jobs for us with Bridgestone and others. And the good news is, so we take these funds and market the county as a viable place and destination for businesses to expand and or relocate. So the pipeline is full. We've got a lot of projects in the works, and we expect that to continue to prosper.
Okay,
Doing a
gentlemen,
great job.
Thank you.
The
Appreciate
mayor's
that.
recommendation for the Industrial Economic Development Fund is $243,600.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. Discussion?
We'll soon have to begin contributing more to this fund, right?
Well, probably what we'll do is move this contribution into the general fund, where it'll be paid out of the general fund and not out of this fund.
We've got enough for one more year for this.
We'll probably end up closing the fund.
I don't think anybody can doubt the work they do out there. Without the chamber, don't know where we'd be. We wouldn't have a great portion of the jobs we've gotten in the last 30 years or so. And so I think we have to do whatever it takes to keep a good relationship with the chamber and keep them strong, doing what they do.
Certainly a big payoff, so this is a good investment. We'll want to make sure we do what we need to do next year to support it.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Gentlemen, if you will go back to the original first page of our proposed budget, we need to get back into our 101 fund. And we need to be on page 81. And we're just going to do this just for fun.
This is where we have put money aside for community care. Of course, those buildings belong to the county. If there was anything that they needed, and Mr. Mark King told us that he was not making a recommendation or request for funds this year.
But I thought it would be fun just to look at those zeros. And we don't even have to have a motion on that.
Okay, I just didn't want y'all to think that they didn't turn anything in.
They just didn't
submitted,
request.
They did not request.
They probably want to keep their name in the hat for future years, huh?
They probably want the discount number.
Okay, gentlemen, if you will go to page 72. This is disaster relief or emergency management, and Mr. Cast will join us.
How y'all doing?
Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please?
Okay, the recommendation is $438,760. And that is a decrease of about $67,000, but $48,000 of that is, we don't have any money posted here for the Department of Homeland Security, which is $48,000 this particular year, and Ms. Nolan has a number that we're going to plug there. I don't know about.
No, we'll wait and see it at the 2013 money, if there's any left.
Got it, yeah, as of the last meeting, which I was not available for, we got $140,000 for 3 different projects. And we're putting the POs out on those right now. I should know by middle of June, if not a few days earlier, if there's gonna be something that.
So we'll know, I mean, hopefully all of it will be encumbered this year. Anything left over, if we get closer to the year end, that might be another one of those things that we drop in.
There are a few other small changes through there. Of course, insurance is up a little bit, health insurance. They're asking for a little maintenance and repair on equipment of $1,000, increase in vehicle maintenance of $1,000. We go across to the next page. Electricity is up about $5,000. We have more tower sites. And
Yeah, I'm trying to extrapolate what the new towers are gonna cost us. We actually pay power bills on 2 towers. By the time this project's over, it'll be 8 towers. So kind of a moving target for me right now, but I kind of took what we're paying right now and did the math, and that's what it came out to. It's 14,000, I believe it is.
$5,000 increase. There's a decrease of $4,000 in other supplies. There's a decrease of $33,000 in communications equipment. A decrease of $3,000 in data processing equipment. So it's very much of a continuation budget, except for those 3 or 4 decreases, then the 1 increase in electricity, and we'll have to add the Department of Homeland Security numbers if they come forward later.
Well, if there's anything left that you don't encumber this year.
Right.
And I can expect there will be.
Item 711, just, what are you doing there? I mean,
That's chairs for their training room there.
Well, actually, the EOC, they're about a decade old, and they're starting to fall apart on me. And, yeah, we do use the training room, but that's primarily our EOC. So I'm going to need to start replacing some of that.
And that's out on College?
Yes, sir.
East West College.
The old armory.
Did you figure it out?
Gentlemen, we need a motion, or do we need more discussion?
I'm still just looking through the line items, so.
Well, if you take out the Homeland stuff, then it's still less than it was last year. Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the budget as recommended.
Commissioner Schaefer, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Gentlemen, if you will go to page 76, the Health Department. Ms. Garrett, good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Burgess, your recommendation?
Okay, $705,782. We'll go through just a few of these things, but you can see that's about $16,000 more than the current year's amended budget. But health insurance is up about $10,000. Now, notice on this, you may ask the question about line 309. That is was amended to $96,281, but you'll also see that we've got a line 708, which was amended to $32,000. Both of those numbers, if you add them together, it's the same amount of money that we're asking for in this year's budget, $128,375. That's the amount of money that we pay into the state, and sometimes they allow us to use it for other purposes, and they gave us $32,094 for her to replace her telephone equipment. So that's just a net zero, so don't be concerned that we're really doing anything different. So, because that 309 line item is still recommended at $128,375. There's a slight increase in line 399. That's primarily because we've added some space to the Smyrna building, and that's for additional cleaning cost. I believe that's the basic purpose of it. Other than that, there's really nothing here that's changed.
169, I noticed they requested some part-time personnel.
Oh, yes.
You didn't agree with that, apparently?
We did not recommend that additional amount of money.
You think you can live with the mayor's recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve the mayor's recommendation.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The dental health program, page 82.
Okay, that's, the recommendation there is exactly the same as it's been, $11,812.
Motion to approve, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandlin.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And then the other local health, which is page 84.
And as you're skimming past 83, the alcohol and drug program, this will be another one. If there is money left for this program, we'll need to add that in as well. This was the tobacco
Yes.
money.
It was a grant we got.
Okay, so this is the piece whereby these employees are reimbursed by they pay us this money?
Oh, yes, yes, sir. That's correct.
190. Yeah, the $2,140,900. That's a slight increase of largely health insurance and a few other, related changes in benefits, but a slight increase, I think, in maybe travel, but other than that, it's the same budget.
Yes,
And
that's
we are.
It's under contract. You just approved this contract, I think.
This
Yes.
contract
Money
is
anyway.
pass-through
Yes.
money here.
Yes.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner
Sure.
Sandlin. Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
If you will back up, please, to page 78. Pet Adoption and Welfare Services. Good evening, Mr. Gregory.
Good evening.
Mayor Burgess, your
Okay.
recommendation, please.
The recommendation is $1,571,473. That's $223 more than current year budget. But I will tell you, there's about 15 pluses and minuses that make it net out to be the same money. Really and truly, I'll just point out a few of them. He's reduced his part-time personnel by $5,000. Overtime pay is down $6,000. In-service training is down it's down $5,000. So you can keep going. Employee insurance is up 27 at this point. Drugs and medical supplies is down $33,000. And then there is one increase on line 709, data processing equipment is up $13,000, and that's so he can replace some aged in place security cameras in the building. And there are a few other $1,000 and $2,000 changes, but I won't enumerate those. So he's staying within his current operating budget.
Mr. Gregory, any comments
No,
to
ma'am.
your budget?
No, ma'am.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Do we have a no?
Yeah.
Commissioner, we have one
I
no.
was gonna ask him a couple of questions, and it didn't get any more discussion. I'm sorry.
Do you need to ask a question while
I'm
he's
gonna ask
here?
it one I ask you every year.
Yes, sir.
City of Murfreesboro, how much did it give, and how much did you ask?
City of Murfreesboro, I believe we requested the same amount as last year. I believe it was $68,500.
Okay.
It was either 68 or 68.5.
Okay. Smyrna.
25,000, which was the same as last year.
Laverne.
We requested money. I believe it was in the $27,000 range. We went ahead at your all's recommendation at Public Safety was to go ahead and send the request to them. I believe that was actually the mayor's recommendation as well. That was sent to them. We haven't heard anything from them. We have heard from Murfreesboro. They meet in early June is their normal meeting. Typically, we don't hear anything from Smyrna unless if there's an issue that they'd like us to come.
Okay. So, but Smyrna and Murfreesboro give it to you?
Currently, they are, and they
Okay.
both did send out packets for next year, asking us to send
So
information
Laverne
back
did
to them.
not?
No, sir. Last year, Laverne asked us to send them a packet of information to make a request, which they denied. This year, we weren't given the opportunity, in advance, so we just sent one in anyway.
So, but you haven't heard from them?
No, sir.
Vehicle, what kind of vehicle is it?
The vehicle that we're purchasing. If you recall, we went from previous until January, the last new vehicle that we had in our fleet was in 2008, so we went for 6 years without replacing a vehicle. I've got 3 vehicles right now that have 200,000 miles on them that are daily drivers. We've got to get back in the
And
system.
these are your trucks?
Yes, sir.
That's what-
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the only, we have 12 vehicles. One of those we're surplusing out because it's not used. One is just a flatbed pickup truck that we use to haul dog food and errands and whatnot. The other vehicles are all animal control units. When the economy tanked, those things weren't included in the budget, so we've gotten behind.
How many trips you making to Laverne?
We're there every day. Yeah, we've got a.
Well, I've seen.
Could save a lot of money if we stopped at
There's
the
one to
line.
2 calls.
The problem is they pay county taxes.
I
That's
need
it.
to ante up on the
Yeah.
policy
They're
program.
typically around 10 to 15% of our call volume and our intake come from the Laverne zone.
Very close, but similar to Smyrna.
Mhm.
Doug's gonna handle that. He's gonna pick up.
Yeah. Well, that's why I brought it up, so I still vote no. I just think, I'm just as of it, if the cities can't, this is something that we're not required to have. It's something we need though in the county to keep the strays, et cetera, around. And, if some of the cities don't want to, participate, then, that's just my feelings on, that we shouldn't be picking up the tab for them. That's the way I'm looking at it. And it's nothing against you, the way you're handling your money. I think you're doing fine. But it's just a little pet peeve, I
Well,
guess.
I did want to throw this out. The typical animal control agency spends $8 per person for services. We spend around $5.57 per person. So we really run a lean department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, page 86, sanitation and waste removal. And I think you're familiar with this. This is the contract we have with Appertain.
Nope, not me.
It's a different kind of waste.
And especially this is the dead animal pickup. Yeah, he will not want this.
You want us to get in that business, man? Motion to approve.
Thank
Second.
you, Commissioner Joe. And that was seconded by Commissioner P. Thank you.
That's on, wait a minute, let me catch up right there on
Okay,
page
86.
86. What am I doing right there? Oh, it's down underneath there. All right. 33,100. And that's running fine now, right, Mayor? We had a hiccup last year or something, and we're doing good.
We've been using the same service about 3 years or more now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've stayed pretty
I haven't
consistent.
had any
Yeah.
feedback or complaints.
Yeah, good.
And they've been pretty consistent on the charge, haven't they?
It's been the same, I think, for maybe 3 years now.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Page 87, other public health and welfare. Mayor Burgess.
There's $257,600 is a recommendation. That is for, the predominant part of that is for autopsies. And then we do have a medical director that we have a contractual arrangement with, so that's what it's up $10,000 because have received notice that the autopsies are going up a few $100s each, so that's what this is about.
Well, that's out of our control. Whenever the sheriff's department or whatever
Yeah.
determines it's needed, then that just
We have to
has
provide
to be
it.
done, yeah.
Well, that's any law
Any
enforcement
jurisdiction.
agency in this county,
Yes.
yeah. And that's state mandated, right?
Yes, it is.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And one
I just
abstain.
can't bring myself to that one. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Stick it
gentlemen,
to this.
page 91. And this is recreation, and Mr. Cates.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
56, not 50. Not that, that's still, we got the wrong code number on somebody.
This is a piece of his
This
budget.
is, yeah, that was one line.
There we
item.
go.
There we go, that's his.
Now.
That is his 316, right?
All right, Mr. Cates has run the very, very efficient, effective operation. of this. The
Excuse
recommendation
me,
is-
Mr. Mayor Burgess. Say that again, say what you said just now, because we've got to wait for Commissioner Jordan to make his
I've
comment.
got a
too.
history of making remarks, but go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Mine later.
This is the most effective, efficient parks and recreation department in any county in the state of Tennessee.
Okay. This is your
Mr.
cue.
Cates, how many miles are on your car?
350.
And 1,000, not
1,000.
350, yeah.
Yes, 350.
Mr. Greg, we're just talking about his trucks had over 200,000 miles. He's just getting started.
He
over
just
your
broke
truck.
in
Yeah,
good.
they're-
These folks is talk about 100,000, they're gonna trade. They need to see me.
Whenever Mr. Cates retires, they'll take at least 3 people to do what he does, and they'll want 3 times as much money. You give him $100 and a roll of duct tape, he can go another year. I mean, it's phenomenal what he can do for the youth of this county with the budget he's got, so that's my 12th year in a row to say something like that.
That is,
Thanks,
I
I'll
appreciate
keep
it.
up, you know.
I accept the recommendation of the mayor, by the way.
And you will note that we have recognized somewhat the good things they're doing. We've given them a bit more money to sort of expand their programs, and their contributions have come through a bit more with respect to the hotel motel tax, so that's passing through in it.
Yes.
At least $40,000 more there. And, well, that's what I was confused about over there earlier, but we really do appreciate what they're doing, and that's our recommendation.
Motion to approve the mayor's recommendation.
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Pete. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And thanks for being a good sport with our
Thank you.
teasing.
Thank you.
Page 94, Agriculture Extension, Mr. Tuggle.
Okay. All right, Mr. Tuggle, recommendation is $713,153. That's $100,000 reduced from the current year budget, primarily because we had $80,000 in this year's budget for replacing that roof. And Mr. Tuggle, you'll have, I don't think we've replaced it yet, but what's the commitment of the, you guys?
We're
regarding that
working
roof?
on it. Actually, we talked with a couple people today, and Steve. It's supposed to go through a big spec process by engineer, and what the codes are calling for is the specs be drawn up by an engineer, but find out the day we may get around that. We just re-shingling the roof.
We're not gonna get around it. It's just not required.
It's not required.
All we're doing is
Spec.
re-roofing, and so it's not changing
What is
structurally.
what is the payment source for this roof?
Those funds come from the rent line. We collect rent from.
So they're gonna pay for it, so therefore you see, we don't have it in this budget.
It's in last year's budget. If it doesn't, it'll go right back into their
Right.
fund.
That's
We'll have to
right.
reappropriate again, but
So
those
that's-
funds are secure in their line items. They don't get dumped back into general fund.
So that $80,000 plus $20,000 less on $499 for other supplies and materials is why the budget is down exactly $100,000.
Do you think you'll have be able to issue a PO before the end of the year?
No.
No.
To be honest, I don't think we won't get done. So I guess in reality, we probably need to allocate it for next year. I got it for July 1, most likely.
So do we need to put the money in here?
Or you have to come back before
I
the
mean,
budget
that's what-
committee, in, after July
With an
1.
amendment?
With amendment to the budget after July 1, which, cause it's just May, I got your letter today, so it won't be done before that process.
So you'll have,
I would recommend putting it in, and we'll show it as not a reduction of undesignated fund balance, but
Come out of
a
their fund.
reduction
Sure.
of theirs.
Of their revenue.
Yeah.
You know, it's just gonna get rolled right back in.
Show it there and then roll it back in.
If not, it's gonna have to go
Yeah.
back in front of the ag committee and back to the budget.
Budget,
and
correct.
us, and all the way to the commission,
So, line 335, you wanna make that $80,000, is add that to our recommendation, is that correct?
Especially, I mean, that way, if we know it's not gonna happen this year.
Yeah, I just got the
it's
letter
gonna
today, you
go-
know, it won't
go
happen
in.
before.
Okay, so that's, changes that to 793,153.
Y'all think the ag committee be okay with that?
I think
I think so.
We've talked
Three of the
about it.
members are right here.
Motion to approve, Madam Chairman.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you.
With the change.
With the 80,000.
That'd be 393, 153, I guess. Is that right?
793.
793.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have, and a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tuggle. Page 96, soil conservation. Good evening.
Aye.
Mayor Burgess, your
Okay.
recommendation, please?
Recommendation, $108,391, that's just less than a couple of $1,000s more, which they have basically no control over as far as insurance costs, et cetera. So it's very much the same budget that they currently have this year.
move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Any
And
further
this is-
discussion?
This is Bruce Gentry, by the way.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm replacing Joe Jack Duman. I've got some big shoes to fill, so. We appreciate y'all's support in the past, and we really appreciate your support in the future.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
How many miles on Bruce?
Could anybody interrupt your Mr. Casey?
Or John Lowe.
Are those there too? Gentlemen, other economic and community development, you can go to that page if you wish, but it is zeroed out because that is the home grant. Mrs. Nolan, do you need to say anything about that?
We've applied, but we have not heard.
Okay. So if you want to go on to page 102, this is the county garage. Mayor Burgess?
Recommendation, $242,205, that's our garage where we have 3 employees that provide service for all of, not all of ours, but most of the county general cars except for the sheriff. It's an increase of $12,000 on that budget, $1,000 for more equipment and machinery parts, $1,000 for more on gasoline, a couple $1,000 less in utilities, a couple $1,000 more in vehicle parts, and $1,000 more in other supplies and materials. And, really,
What's your other equipment for 790 there?
that is, if I recall correctly, it's some sort of air conditioning, reconditioning. Let me see what my notes say on that, if you don't mind. I think it's something to do with a device that will air condition recovery machine, whatever that means. Okay, they don't
Freon.
have one.
Freon, yeah, they're working on, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a federal mandate to me.
You just can't release it in the air anymore.
It's- well, it's-
You can, it's not a $10,000
Yeah,
fine.
that's true, that's true. Don't want to do that.
Motion approved.
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Page 104, employee benefits.
This is our pooled amount that we dip into whenever the employees change their benefits, their selections, and their open enrollment. Also pulled them out for the unemployment and the other fringe benefits. That's where we pay for our retirees, the county's portion of their premiums. It also includes an amount for the transitional reinsurance for the new Health Care Act, and then our estimate for workers' comp. Total $798,300.
We're not in control over this number anyway.
Right.
Motion approved.
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Page 105, payments to cities.
This is the amount that we pay to Town of Smyrna for their portion of the pilot payment from Nissan on the original agreement.
And that's another one we don't have control over. I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner P, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan.
That's what was negotiated way back at when, isn't it? The
It's
percentage?
Actually, we're collecting both parts, our part and their
That
part,
part,
and they
so
get theirs.
back, okay. And
So
they
tax
gave
rate.
us the liquor tax back, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And then we have a miscellaneous, Mrs. Nolan, page 106.
Oh, okay. This is where we pay, this is our pooled amount for the gasoline. That's where we tap into if the estimates and the budgets are too low. Judgments is an estimate that we pay for our property and casualty claims. And trustees commission is definitely a percentage of revenues that we get in.
We've got 0 during 10 months on the judgment, but we're expecting 800,000.
We'll get ready, it's gone. All of it. We may have to come
We
out.
had a good 10 months, I thought we might have had.
So 1
And-
million, yes.
That 800,000 is not all going to our county attorney. That's our extra outside
It's
litigation.
insurance claims.
Insurance claims.
Property and casualty, some of it is.
Some of it is, yeah.
The school board cried about the trustees commission. Is that a thing that comes out of the state that a certain percentage has got to go back, or?
No, it's a calculation, it is in statute how trustees collect their fees. It is a percentage of revenue. They get 2% of collections of property tax, the current levy. I think it's 2% of the interest and penalties. But the biggest one is the current levy, and then they receive 1% on all other funds. They don't take on federal and state grants. They don't take a percentage of that. So that, the way this works, and you'll see this in all the funds that have, revenues coming through, and it goes to the trustee's office, and then it comes back to the general fund. Any excess comes back to the general fund.
That's
So,
why the school board.
It's just a circle.
it's a circle,
It's just a circle.
absolutely.
It-
So, the way to look at it, the way I look at it, when the school, or not just schools, but others complain that they're paying this, is that there is property tax going in there to cover it, so if you,
If they stopped paying it, we'd have to figure out where to get it back over.
right,
there, so.
you'd have to move pennies over to the general fund, because if you go back, I think it's about $4 million that comes to the general fund through this movement of funds.
Does that come back June 30th?
Do what?
Does that come back effective June 30th?
It comes back quarterly. They make quarterly payments.
Well, but the leftover comes back at the end of the year? At the end of if there's any leftover, it comes back to the general fund?
When you say leftover, what are you saying?
I'm saying what they don't use, you say goes back to the
excess,
general.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, right. That's what I'm saying, is that it funds the general fund.
Mhm.
The excess of the fee offices go to the general fund.
I don't like anything just named miscellaneous. That just looks obscure for the person out there watching on TV, so I don't know if there'd be a way to put some of these in
Well,
a more designated line
The
item.
question is, whose gasoline line would you put
Yeah,
that in?
I know, but-
And then, because judgments affect several different budgets,
You got right at $2 million under miscellaneous, that just
well, and.
looks a little fuzzy from the outside looking in, you know what I mean?
I say county general,
Yeah.
gasoline county general.
Well, I mean, it ends up being whose function are you gonna put that in? Are you gonna put it under the mayor's budget? Are you gonna put it under, that's what I'm saying, it's, and the trustees is who's going to put that?
I'm good with it for this year personally, but I would just, in the future, like say if we could have a small amount of anything called miscellaneous, because that's always where somebody says, oh, that's where they're hiding whatever, and this isn't anything hidden, but it just.
I wanna see it differently on TV next year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's whose function are you gonna put it under?
Well, county general.
No, it is in county general.
But I mean, you can label it as county
we
general,
moved the
gasoline,
gasoline
county general.
was under the mayor at that point.
It was under the mayor.
That one, but the other two would not be.
Right, miscellaneous comptroller.
Yeah, the controller is labeling that category as miscellaneous.
Well, we've reduced the number of items in this miscellaneous
did.
account
It
quite a
used to
bit,
be
so
very
we've made a lot of
important.
progress. There's only 3 or 4 left.
We're down to, we don't know who to give that to.
I'll take it.
Well, I mean, who's
Oh.
gonna who's gonna have it in their budget?
That's what finance recommends.
The other thing, if you want, you could put I guess gasoline into the county garage. The mechanics.
So they don't have anything to do with
They don't have anything to do with it.
Did we vote on this yet? I'll make a motion to approve the
Commissioner Schaefer,
recommendation.
thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. Any further discussion about miscellaneous? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Okay, if you'll go back to the first page of our proposed budget, and we now need to go to folder 116 for the Solid Waste Sanitation Fund, and good evening.
Good evening.
And gentlemen, we do have some information that you put in our folders.
You've got a new sheet for solid waste. And we're gonna make some corrections as we go through it. And I've kind of put those in here on this last one. Did you get one? It should be, look behind your steps.
Oh.
Okay.
Are you gonna refer us to the?
I'll just refer you to the back,
to the back
side
page
for the,
for the revenue?
Yeah, so it updates the slide. with the changes. Estimated revenue is $3,404,100. The appropriations with the changes that we need to make tonight would total $4,527,208. Appropriations are more than our estimated revenue by $1,123,000. We have sufficient fund balance, so we will be taking the equivalent of 1.8 pennies out of the fund balance, estimated ending to be $2,551,000. So now you go to 116.
Expenditures. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation? And of course,
Well, are we gonna do this all?
are you gonna do this separately?
Talk about each individual
Each
budget?
one individually.
Okay. So we need to,
You ready?
okay.
Start each one.
Yeah. Where are we on 55?
720.
720 sanitation education. This is primarily our litter pickup crews and our recycle education person in that budget. It's about a $3,000 increase, so it's a couple of $1,000 of that is just in health insurance, so there's really no increases in this budget. It's a continuation budget with minor adjustments in health insurance and pay and benefits.
Okay, and gentlemen, if there's no opposition at all, we'll just keep going with the next part, which is the convenience centers.
Okay, the convenience center recommendation is $2,739,037, and there are several pluses and minuses there, but I'll just address a few of them. And we'll start with line item 149 for the laborers. Those are our part-time convenience center workers, and the increase there is about $23,000. Originally, as we had some discussion at Public Works, I had recommended a 25-cent increase for all of our workers. There was some discussion from the Public Works that said we should go to $1 per hour. I have recommended here, this $23,000 increase is for a 50-cent increase per hour for our convenience center workers. That's about a 5.5% increase. And that's one of the primary changes here. There's a few other changes. The retirement's down $3,000, health insurance is up $5,000, tires and tubes is up $5,000, and the motor vehicle 718 line item is up $25,000. So that's the net effect of all of these changes, which is about, well, let's see, 2,663, about $70,000, or a little less than that, 60,000.
Mayor, going back to your line item 149 on those laborers, how much are they actually making per hour now?
Right now, if you started out today, you'd make $9.
So
With
your
this,
tar-
it'd be
what your
$9.50.
suggestion would be $9.50.
But
Yes, sir.
we don't have anybody less than $9.25 right now. I mean, and more or less at least. $9.25 is the predominant number. We've got 10 or 12 that are $10 or more, and you know, some that are a few that are $9.75. So.
Well, I just wanted to point out that, you know, we're not being exorbitant by
No.
that amount of money.
I mean,
being
some of
offered.
you, and even Mac wasn't here, but we made, in the beginning, this was really needed much attention, and we made some real effort to try to adjust those things over the years, and we have.
We've got at least a 25-cent per hour increase every year, with the exception of one was a 50% or 50-cent increase. This would be another 50-cent. Our goal was to get them to $10 per hour, and we were looking at possibly 3 more years. So this would, if we do it 25 cents, the next 2 will be there.
So right now, they're making between $9 and $10.50 an hour, the highest and the lowest. The new people coming in are $9.
We've got a few older folks at around $10.75.
We got a few
Okay.
10.75s, but only a few.
But if you look at their hire dates and the birthdays, I mean, they won't be on that payroll a whole lot longer.
This will take most of them to $9.75 to plus. A few of them will be at $11.
Are they part-time?
Yes.
sir.
We don't have any full-time center attendants.
Okay.
No benefits.
No.
About the vehicle, are you getting a 275, is that
That's
roll-off?
two
or-
roll-off trucks.
Two roll-offs.
Last year, we bought one front-loader truck.
I thought
And
it
this-
was too high for a roll-off, but maybe not high enough for a front loader.
Mhm.
So it's 2 roll-offs. Motion to approve the mayor's recommendation.
If you, we had decided
Oh, I'm
that
sorry, I'm sorry.
we had decided that we would do it all, if that's okay, at this point. So
My
we're ready,
mistake.
we're ready to move to other waste collection. And,
Okay.
This is the first correction, and it's on your sheet. Line 312, instead of 5,000, needs to be 150,000. That would bring the total to 284,612, and they can explain the needed increase.
Okay, so that 284,612 is the recommendation. That's $150,000 more, and all of it predominantly is in what you just said. $145,000 increase in that line item 312, and we are recycling electronic equipment, And that just keeps on increasing, and heretofore, our contractor, you might say, has been doing all of that for free. But that's over, even as we speak. And we've taken bids on this, and we're gonna have to start paying for the removal of TVs and CRT devices. And we're gonna put something in place, hopefully. We can get some approval to charge somehow for recovering this substantial increase of what it's gonna cost us. And we're gonna have to put some sort of charge system in place to take care of the cost of removing these TVs and CRTs, which is just overwhelming us. So, but anyway, we need this in this expense budget, and we're gonna need the Public Works people to help us approve a payment mechanism where we can recover at least a substantial part of this.
We've got a budget amendment that we're gonna take to Public Works at the first of the month to move $20,000 into that line item to get them to
These
this
are
due June.
monitors and stuff that people are just bringing in.
It's amazing how many TVs are being.
Currently, is this just household, or we got commercial entities out there bringing PCs in?
Currently, we accept from anybody that brings it.
Well,
So
that's.
So this is gonna be part of our charge structure somehow.
You're on that committee.
Well, that's why I asked, there's been a couple of folks come to our auctions that buy monitors.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a big business, is what I'm saying, on recycling, where we wouldn't get anything for a monitor, you know, be $1 or something, and they buy them all, and they recycle them somehow, and there's quite a few folks, you can ask quite a few of the auction folks around here, and they're just sucking them up.
Well, see, but he'll tell you the market's been flooded. I mean, there has been value in
Well,
those
see, if
things,
they're
but-
buying that monitor for $1, then they'll wind up with a tube left over, but they'll get well more than $1 worth of precious metals out of it to sell. And then my question would be what they're doing with that monitor, that tube later. When we started this almost 4 years ago, we checked around to see who we could deal with, and there was one company that said we'll do it for free. But it needs to have the cord attached. So you've heard, you know, there's a $5 charge if the cord's not there. That's the reason we were charging $5. What they were doing at the time was plugging those units in to see if they worked. If the tubes actually worked, they send them to Texas and they'd reuse them in the gaming industry. Well, they flooded that market, so there's not a market for that right now. There's not really a good market to sell the tubes anywhere, so most of the recycle companies are sitting on them. I was really disappointed when we opened the bids. We only had 2 bidders. The company that we started out with didn't bid. The company that we're currently dealing with did bid. And then there's a company that's got an operation out of Nashville and their main office in Wisconsin. They were only bidders. We did the calculation. Right now we're running about 13,000 pounds per tractor trailer load of tubes. And that's about $1,950 per load. So at the current, we're shipping a load and a half a week. So we're looking at somewhere around $146,250 if we don't increase anything.
So you're looking to do some sort of fee structure similar to the landfill where a individual would get like one a year or something
No.
like that, or
None a
and
year.
then the big businesses have to pay y'all?
Everybody would have to. I think what we need to do is everybody needs to pay.
You get back to the same old argument, well, you're gonna start seeing them on the country roads and the ditches and all.
And then we need to
you
increase
see
that fine
now.
system
So,
there, but-
I would like to see something where the homeowner would have an allotment. I'd be able to do one a year or something like that. I know it's a little bit of paperwork or something, but I live in a rural area, and I've got some farmland, it's a dead end roads and all, and I'm picking up TVs now and taking them to your guys. But, and if the cord has cost me $5, I'm finding a cord somewhere. And, I just don't want to get where that's even more prevalent where people are gonna keep doing that.
I understand what you're saying, but the position that you put our employees in is if Miss Ely is a TV computer repair dealer, and she shows up there every day with 2 of each in her personal vehicle, she doesn't have anything to identify her as a business, the way we're set up, we have no choice but to accept that. And it doesn't matter if she comes every day with 2, we can't single her out.
I just say, well, hope we'll look at something like, I know at the county landfill, you get allotted, what, a ton a year to dump for free?
Right.
You're keeping up with who it is there somehow or
Mhm.
another. So I don't know if you'd have to get a computer and put their license number or ID or something in, but in my opinion, if you start charging them for every one, they're gonna go down those country lanes and our
Like
highway
tires
department
used to
back
be.
here nodding their head yes,
Like
and
dirt.
is gonna be bush hogging right over them, and they're gonna deal with them and everybody else, but I don't know, I just think we ought to have some way that you get rid of one a year or something like
How
that.
many do we get through convenience centers now?
We don't accept them at convenience centers, but
That's not what I
if they're,
asked.
if they're busy, we wind up with them. Now, if the center attendant can get it out of the top of a load without getting injured, we'll pull those out and then we'll send a truck up there to pick it up and take them down there. There's some of them that still wind up going to the landfill.
Unless they
We
smash
get
them
them
and
at
put 'em
the,
in a bag.
yeah. At our Rutherford County landfill, if they're in a load and they get gone, we'll pick them out of the landfill and take them down. And we usually do probably a pickup truckload a week of those that get brought in that way.
What's the estimate of the actual recycled material that we get at our convenience centers? I think I heard something, but it's around 9 to 10% of the people, of the load that we get in is recyclable material.
A lot of what we actually take to landfill still has a lot of recyclable in it. We're at the convenience center average is running somewhere around 12 to 15%. Overall, with the schools, everything combined, we're running about 18% recycled. We had an employee at one of the convenience centers that got sick and had to go home, and I got a text when I sat in the church. As soon as I left church, I went to that convenience center, and I worked the rest of the day, and it's one of the slower centers. Probably 90% of the people that came in did not recycle at all. The other 10% recycled really well, and it's one of the centers that we've got every box for every commodity that we accept. It's just that we've got to change that culture. And I understand what you're saying, but we've got to get it to where it's not free. It's going to cost you if you don't do it right.
But anyway, we have to have this in this budget for expenditure, and we've got to find a way somehow to recoup some of that cost.
Okay, are we ready to go to the next section? Which is landfill operation and maintenance, and we also have a corrected number here.
Yes, on line 312, instead of 330,000, it should be 200,000.
Going around, correct?
Yeah, I did that, what we just
But
added in.
if you go down to line 359, you'll find it. The current tire grant that we get from the state of Tennessee expires on June the 30th and goes away. So the tires are going to be a problem for us. On June the 5th, we've got a meeting that we're going to try to have with all the tire dealers to explain our situation. Again, where we need to go with this is to charge everybody for their tires. Currently, we take tires at 4 locations, the landfill being one, Craner Road, Eagleville, and Weekly. I took the cost tonight. There's 25 tires at Weekly. There's 25 at Eagleville, 18 at Craner Road, and 150 at Weekly Lane. And we'll do about 200 tires a week at Weekly Lane. And what's happening there is just what I explained. You got a lot of people that's coming in every day with 4 tires. And we're going to have to change that and start charging for it. So it's going to have to be where if you've got a tire, you got to pay to get rid of it.
You'll find plenty of them on the side of roads everywhere
Up there with them TV sets.
Keep them picked up.
Yes.
And we can laugh at it, but that's absolute true.
Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah.
Go out in the rural areas, you'll see them.
I followed a guy in a little dead-end lane last week. I saw him drive in with a TV in the back of his truck. And I pulled down, and he pulled in, got out and saw me and just got back in his truck and just eased on, because I knew exactly what he was fixing to do was throw that TV out.
If you want to keep on doing electronics the way we're doing it,
I ain't talking about electronics, I was talking about tire.
well, both of them's going to be the same situation. That's $250,000 collectively. So what, if you're going to do that, what you need to do is take $250,000 out of the property tax and fund this by that, because it's property tax owners. Whatever pennies that is.
You put a penny in for it and label it for that.
And we're already $1 million plus short, so you may want to put some more pennies in it, but it's you understand what I'm saying? If you're going to do it, you can't do it off the.
Well, it's going to charge somebody here or charge somebody there, you know, and stuff. And
But I think it should be the one that has it, because the way we're getting ready to do it, if we do it either way, if none of you have a tire, but Mr. Burgess and I, all of y'all are gonna pay to get rid of our tires.
Well, the same argument can be made for kids in school. What if somebody has no children? You
But
know, I
most,
mean,
most
you-
everybody sent them through.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people don't have children at all,
Mhm.
you know, and so.
Well,
I hadn't been arrested, so
Give-
what about
give
the
us-
sheriff's department? I
Right.
don't need them.
This is a choice, yeah, but these tires are a choice thing. You're making a decision whether to take it or not.
well, we're just telling you what the costs are going to be and give us an opportunity to give you some good alternatives and suggestions on how we're going to see if there's a reasonable way to recover some of these dollars. It may not be, but just give us an opportunity.
Come up with a plan, go from there.
We gotta, I'm with you. We gotta start charging, to cover our expense. So that's where we gotta go. And then for those that pull off at the road and stuff, I know we've seen tires for years and it's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better.
Much better.
But you've got people taking pictures of tags and videoing and all that. It's very accessible now. And they're turning folks in and seeing a name in the trash and all that sort of stuff, and they go and they prosecute. That's cut down a lot of that stuff.
Well, the problem
And
with seeing a
plus
name-
we got convenience centers now that we didn't have in a few spots, and now they can easily go there and, you know, and dump their stuff in their taxpayers and
The
stuff.
problem we have with finding a name in the trash, if you go somewhere and throw a bag of trash out, we go through that bag of trash and we find your name and address. We call the sheriff department. They come issue you a citation. And then we go to court. We'll spend a half a day in court, and I've done it before. When you finally get to the judge, they'll throw it out because I couldn't prove you did it. It's your trash, but your wife or your children may have done it, so it gets thrown out.
So this is an issue that, Public Works is going to have to deal with, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're getting kind of off task.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I apologize, I've been the main
Yeah.
one.
Well, some of you were venting, and that makes you feel better, right?
Yes, Miss Ely. Don't raise my hand.
But one positive, well, I know you like positive things. If you look at that $4.99 down there, we decreased it a little bit.
Okay, so.
Shall we go to post-closure care costs?
Yes, we should go there. The recommendation is $310,000, and Mr. Nolan has
That's a
suggested
$30,000
reduction in contracts for post-closure. Line item 366, he reduced that $30,000.
Any discussion on this portion? We've discussed this over the years many times, haven't we? Okay, employee benefits?
Again, these are pooled amounts, totaling $30,025.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Jordan, miscellaneous?
Okay, this is where the insurance and then their judgments, liability insurance and trustees commission. 55,580. 40. 80. They're making big numbers.
$55,580.
So the total of all those is $4,527,208.
It's only 25,000 higher than, I thought we added more than that in. But some came out though.
Yes.
The, motion to approve as presented.
It's 300,000 more
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan.
than last year.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner P. Thank you, Commissioner P.
I don't see that we got a lot of choice.
Any further discussion on this solid waste sanitation fund? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much.
I will say we need to be prepared for, in not too distant future, this budget is gonna explode. You know, when something happens with the landfill and different things, and we need to be getting our ducks in a row because we're getting free tipping, a little money back from the landfill and stuff. But other counties' solid waste budgets are huge.
Middle Point's
We don't have any
scheduled to
tax-
close in about 12 years.
We don't have any property tax money going into this fund at all, so.
So once Middle Point closes and we're trucking trash to wherever this budget, you're right. We're gonna have the disposal that we don't have, we're gonna have the extra hauls that we don't have. Of course, the population's increasing, so we've got a lot of things to look at.
Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, if you will go back to the first page of our proposed budget, and would you go into folder 131? We're ready for the highway fund. And Mr. Brooks and Miss Mary will join us. Good evening. You all have been patiently waiting, or maybe not so patiently, but you've been waiting.
Who do we talk to about getting moved up on the list?
Ted Beatty, he's always first. Ask him what the tricks are.
Estimated revenue for this fund is $8,617,148. Total expenditure coming $249,064. We're estimating the ending balance to be $6,713,454, and that includes both the assigned and the committed fund balances.
And then if you'll go to the expenditure portion of the budget, and of course, Mayor Burgess does not make a recommendation on this budget. This budget comes from an elected road board. So, Mr. Brooks, what is that recommendation?
To approve the road board's recommendation of the current budget of $9,249,064.
And would you speak to any of the details, or if the committee has any questions or comments?
I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that the committee has. I'm sure that no one wants to go through this line by line, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that
Gentlemen,
no
I'll
one
give
might
you a
have.
few minutes to take a look.
I don't have a recommendation, but you can see the only real changes in the health insurance cost. I mean, that's his whole, it's $100,000 of his $97,000 increase.
That's the reason that's the reason for our increase. Primarily the reason for our increase is just it's difficult to absorb that every year.
Is asphalt's the same? Is it holding steady, or are you gonna cut back on how much you pay? If it's going up, that means you're doing less miles.
Actually, it's holding fairly steady. It had several years that it increased multiple times a year, but now it's kind of seems like it's leveled off, and I'm hoping that's the trend. Of course,
I've heard
it
good
will
things
still.
about y'all trying to fine tune, do a little better job on your paving and stuff, and I've heard some compliments, so I'll pass them on to you and Miss Hicks.
I appreciate that. We do try. We know we have a huge responsibility, and we do take it very seriously.
Motion to approve the budget as presented.
Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Always a tight budget, you did a very good job.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, if you will go back to the first page of our proposed budget again and go to folder 151. This is our general debt service fund.
Okay.
Revenues?
Revenues is $39,457,068. We've updated the recommended appropriations because we did have a sale today. Two different sales, one for the airport and then one for us. The appropriations $41,842,468. We'll be using $2,385,000 of our fund balance, but to fund that, we'll be using almost 4 pennies of our fund balance. 4 pennies worth of our fund balance. But we're estimating our ending fund balance to be 74% of our appropriations.
What is it, 67%? Is
Well,
that
we've
what?
been using 65, we've been 75, 65, in that range. If you go to if you're in the revenue folder, 'cause I
3.94, big
the new debt requirement is $1,782,273. So if you just give me just a little bit of your time and give y'all some kudos. We had 2 sales, one at 31 million. That was the ones that we've just done, and both our rating agencies, Moody's and S&P, they kept our rates, our rating at AA+ from S&P and AA1 from Moody's. We were really hoping to be AAA. We thought we had a chance, but we need more.
We need more per capita income. That's probably the only thing that's keeping us away from AAA.
Yeah.
But S&P,
We give everybody
just
a
read
raise.
this a little bit. Their rating reflects their opinion on the following credit factors for the county, and specifically the strong economy, very strong budgetary flexibility, adequate budgetary performance, strong liquidity, strong management, adequate debt and contingent liabilities, and a very strong institutional framework. Now that last one, the very strong institutional framework, goes back to that the commission has unlimited taxing authority. That's, I mean, you could raise taxes to pay debt without having to go and having the public say no.
Okay, that, what they left in committee or something this year up in Nashville is what you're talking about, right? Okay.
And then the other thing is kudos to y'all, is the very strong management. And in their opinion, the county operates under very strong management conditions indicated by strong financial management practices. Under their methodology, indicating practices are strong, well embedded, and likely sustainable. And they mention as our strengths the management of the budgetary process, which entails these monthly reports that we make to you and to our commission. Our detailed 5-year capital improvement plan and how we look at what's that gonna do to our debt, our financial plans. And they specifically note our formal reserve policy that requires to maintain at least 15% of operating reserves, and our adopted debt management policy that governs what we can issue debt for and the type of structures that we have. So those are kudos to you.
If we slip the rating point, what would that mean for us as far as borrowing money? How much more would it cost us, say, if we dropped
We go
a
back,
rating?
it's kinda hard, 'cause you almost have to go look and see what did that kind of
Yeah.
rating.
I was
that
kinda
time.
looking for a ballpark figure there, so.
It's sort of, she's gonna tell you sort of what the rates were today, and maybe she could tell you what it might have been if we weren't AA+, or
Okay.
we're AA1,
I don't know if I
we
can
dropped
tell
to
you that.
AA2.
I can tell you what we got.
What we
You can-
got, but it would be small amounts of, on the true interest cost.
But a small amount over 20 years.
Over years
is a lot
is-
of
That's a
money.
lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm looking for is a ballpark, because, you know, we do, one person in particular gets up just about every month and browbeats us for the amount of money that we keep in reserves, and part of the reason we keep that money there is for emergencies, of course, but also to meet these criteria that helps us maintain that
Well,
rating.
Yeah, I look at it that, you know, we are borrowing from citizens, and we're saying to our citizens, we're doing everything we can to make sure that you get paid back for your investment into this county. The 31 million, we had 11 bidders, and the rate that we got on that is 2.839
On 20 years.
on 20 years.
That's not bad.
2.839.
Not bad.
For the
That
airport.
was non-taxable.
That's non-taxable. The airport, is a taxable issue, so you would expect higher rates, and of course it was. But their rate is 3.69, of which they were pleased. We had Mr. Black here while we
Well,
were
they
doing
were
this
at
bid.
6%, weren't they, before we did all this? Before we did the stuff with them, when we
On that-
reduced it,
on
I
that
wasn't at
other-
6.
on that other
Yes.
amount they were
Yeah,
paying back.
and
we
that's
dropped
why
it.
they
We
went.
dropped it to 2.
Mhm.
They were paying 6.
Yeah.
That's huge. But he was very pleased with that, because we were at one time looking at 4, 4.5.
Mhm.
The market was kind of shifting up, and so.
Back in the business more.
Got it.
2.87, what was the county?
2.84.
Is that the lowest we've had? And
On 20 years,
You're good.
Stephanie, now we had lower cost, but on a refund.
Short term. on some of the
Shorter term.
1 and 2 year
Yeah.
notes,
That's right.
3-year notes, yeah, but We haven't been that low on a 20-year
No.
note since
Well,
maybe
here, let me tell you,
in modern times.
we haven't been lower on our refunding.
Refunding, that's what we were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
Some of
refundings
those
we've
were
been
10
on.
and 15-year refundings.
The, it's 2.83. The last new money we got was in 2012, and it was at 2.4.
But that wasn't a
two-
was that a refunding?
That was new
That
money.
was a 20-year?
That was new money, and then, I mean, that was really the lowest
Didn't know
new
that.
money one.
And that was a 20-year.
And that
There
was
wasn't
20
one
years.
2 or 3 years.
And then the one before that was in 2009 for new money, and it was 3.67. And then 2007, it was 4.167. So we were in the fours.
Stewart's Creek.
Well, our
One of
Stewart's,
those was in
the
there.
Stewart's Creek was the one that we did in 2012, that we
Yeah,
got
was it
2.42.
yeah.
That was like 50 million,
69.
Huh?
69.
69 all total. But that would have, that's more than twice as much as this one.
Yeah.
Is Hamilton and Williamson still above us?
Yes.
And-
we brought that up to them many times, that's why can't we be?
Well, I can see Williamson having definitely a higher per capita income, but nothing's happening in Hamilton.
Okay.
They're being reevaluated.
I mean, it's a stagnant, I mean,
So
we're
we've
gonna
been
catch
told.
Chattanooga here in what, 20 more years?
Yeah, well, what they've said, they kind of said, well, you know, we haven't rated them in a while, so if they got, we took it that if they got re-rated, then they would be AAA.
Okay, we can see Williamson.
My grandparents used to
Per
talk about
capita, probably
2% money.
10,000 higher.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that made that much of a difference. I guess it's your ability to repay if you get into it, how much can you take somebody, right? Who's a good
The only
subsidized
eligible for.
Just think about it, that does
It's been the
something
last
with,
few years, but we
do
were
stuff at once and feel some
less
lead.
than we've gotten into that.
Give me a minute. when you
Oh, you're talking about at the state?
But I read a couple of things in paper.
No, this is one of the programs at schools, the federal programs.
Because, you know, I read some about.
I don't remember which program we were not eligible for most, but we were under the interest rate.
Facilities there, they're using the gas. that
Well, we
comes
did
out
have
there.
some borrow from the schools on those
Yeah.
energy things, that was at zero.
Gotta have enough out there to do it.
That was the lighting and,
Of course, now you don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
Lighting,
Plumbing.
it was lighting.
I was pretty
So,
close to
anyway,
dead.
going back to the total. Revenue, 39,457,000, expenditures at 41,842,000. 468.
We probably know we're not to pay it back.
We have to pay it back. We have to pay it back. In the 2013 tax, in this current fiscal year, the current tax rate is 59.62 pennies. The certified rate with the allocation would have it at 57.6 cents.
249.68. I'm just wondering, you just love taking the decimal out to 10,000, don't you?
No money on the table.
There you go. So I guess we gotta approve the.
We need a motion for Fund 151, yes, our debt service fund.
I make a motion to approve the budget recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Baum. Any further discussion on the debt service fund? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Did you have something under other business?
I do have,
I was thinking. you
under
said
other
that.
business.
We do have something under other business that Mrs. Nolan wanted to present, gentlemen.
What I do with it. It's the sheriff's.
Oh, yes. Does it look like this?
It looks like this.
gentlemen, it should be in your folder. It says budget salary information.
Okay. It's this one,
Oh, right now,
the writing at the bottom.
it's one
Yeah.
page?
Yeah, you've got one
Some
on
on
the
the
sheriff's
back.
side and one on the jail. And this, you know, you had approved the budget with the changes of the personnel. And the numbers, well, personnel have moved, and I was trying to demonstrate where the people came from the 13-14 budget to the 14-15, that's where you see all that. For example, the detectives went from 23 to 25, and one person was budgeted wrong in 189, and so that one moved, and then one, it was account, under account 119, the accountants was changed from one of the accountants into a detective. It was the same pay grade, so pay grade didn't change, but the function of what that person was doing changed. There is, the sheriff has mentioned that he has a OIT department, and so we try to classify those all in their own category, data processing. 121, the positions there came from, 2 from captains, 1 lieutenant, 1 sergeant, and then 1 position from 189. There was 2 positions in the jail that we changed into the sheriff. One was the public information officer, and we moved that from the jail budget over into the sergeants. And we moved 1 person that was a deputy to other salaries, and that was a position they made into a evidence technician. So updating all their personnel that have since changed since the last time I updated it, plus making those movements from those positions as requested by the sheriff and recommended by you. The estimate, or the budget numbers for 54-110 is 22,572 The amount for the jail would be 15,131,161.
From the difference of the other night, what,
The difference,
I don't have that piece of paper with me, but it seemed like we're very close to what
we are, it's not much. And there's my paper.
Because I remember 22 and 15.
The number, it increased 25,108, combining those 2.
Oh, okay, but how much did the jail go down? Because you,
The jail went down,
a lot, because you took 2 people from it and put them in the
Yeah.
sheriff's.
But we added those
Yeah, we added-
transport.
You,
added those
you
transport numbers.
you balanced it out. but-
yes. Yeah.
This is what we approved last night, just with the
It-
hard numbers tied to it.
Right. Right.
Total.
So that's why I was updating you, so we're gonna see that again.
We need a motion to approve these numbers, or what we did last night?
I think it did, you said
Took care.
approved with the changes, but I just wanna make sure that you had it.
25,000.
And, let's see, it was an increase of the sheriff by 106,515, but a decrease in the jail.
Of 81,000.
Yeah.
So it's about a $26,000 net change.
81,406, so the change is 25,000 anyway. Increase between those 2. After all was said and done.
Including benefits.
Right.
Okay, is there anything else that needs to come before a committee from you?
No, so when we meet next, one of the times that
Tuesday.
we'll have all those numbers.
Yes, Tuesday, yes, our next meeting is Tuesday, May 27th, and that is the joint meeting with Health and Ed. at the School Board Central Office, and remember that is at 4:30. And at the bottom of your agenda tonight, you do have some reminders of future meetings, but right now we'll just concentrate on next Tuesday as our next meeting.
I understand, Jeff, this may be a long meeting, so we're gonna have dinner provided or anything, or is that just,
What's that pizza?
We would have to spend money like
Oh.
Good answer.
He didn't fall for it, he didn't fall for it.
Not on us anyhow, right?
Gentlemen, is there anything else that needs to come before our committee this evening? Thank you very much. We are adjourned.